Hey everyone, and welcome back to Classic Comics. Today I'm reviewing issue 107 of Batman. It's got a nice cover. I do like this cover by Jimenez, but this is the second part of the Cowardly Lot storyline. So, like the previous issue, we get this framing device where someone who we assume to be the Scarecrow is holding Batman a prisoner here and is kind of taunting him and tormenting him. But then it kind of goes back in time again. And of course, this follows on shortly after the whole Joker War story. There was a gas attack on Arkham Asylum, which they refer to as A-Day. And a lot of the inmates and people who worked there were killed, and several escaped in the confusion afterwards. Now, Batman is investigating this crime scene, and he discovers a scarecrow set up in this place, and an obvious tip that the scarecrow is behind this, but Batman notes that there's no residue of the scarecrow's fear toxin on the scarecrow, on the fibers or anything like that, which you would expect with Jonathan Crane. But then the police arrive and they order him to leave the crime scene, and he sets off this flare and then slips away. Now, somewhere in town, this guy is running around just stabbing people randomly, and then Harley shows up to stop him. And apparently she knows the guy from Arkham. He's one of the people who escaped from Arkham Asylum. And apparently when he's on his meds, he's fairly controllable, but he's off his meds, and now he's just a homicidal maniac. And she's trying to convince him to go back to Gotham. Then the cops arrive, and she slugs one of them. And she, by the way, she kind of has decided that she's now Batman's sidekick. She's just kind of appointed herself to be his new sidekick, which Batman really didn't ask for. But the cops see her club the other cops, so now they want to arrest her too. But then Ghostmaker shows up, and he and Harley escape. Then Batman goes to visit Barbara, or Oracle, and they discuss the recent events and the Insanity Collective. So the Insanity Collective are this group of criminals who they're operating as kind of like a Robin Hood like type outfit. They claim they want to save Gotham from insanity to embrace unsanity, and that unsanity is somehow different from sanity and insanity. I don't know. It's kind of puzzling, but they've been robbing from the rich in order to sort of fuel their exploits, their criminal activities. And in particular, they have been going after heads of media, like people who run TV stations, who own magazines, that's newspapers, that sort of thing. And Barbara notes how, they're a problem, but they're not nearly as big a deal as the media makes them out to be. And Batman says, well, that's because they've been attacking the people who run the media. So the media is really amping them up. And again, that's just kind of fueling into the general sense of fear and tension there is in Gotham right now. That's another thing, is they say, Batman says, someone out there is trying to just stoke fear. Whether it's with the Insanity Collective or the gas attack or with these scarecrow figures popping up. And he's not convinced that Crane is behind it or not. And he also, I like how they include as a plot point in here the role that the media is playing in this, and how the media is really stoking the fear and all that. And because it seems to me like that really kind of plays into what's happened in the real world in the last year or so. But Oracle, I keep calling her Batgirl. She notes that no one's really been able to catch the Insanity or Unsanity Collective because they're good at hiding and good at slipping away and all that. And she notes that if you're going to catch them, probably the best way to do it would be to kind of get to them from the inside. And I really like this panel here with him walking away. Then we go to Simon Saint. Now, he used to live in Gotham, moved out to the West Coast, I think, for a long time. And I guess he's some kind of tech mogul now, running this Saint Industries. And he's the guy who wants to install the Magistrate, this police state, really, surveillance police state that we saw in the Future State storyline. And again, there's this figure who seems to be the Scarecrow, who is apparently working with him and manipulating him. And then we go to the Narrows, and this figure approaches what is, I guess, one of the hideouts of the Unsanity Collective. And it turns out it's Matches Malone. So, Matches Malone, for those who don't know, back in the 70s, there was this low-level hoodlum named Matches Malone who was working in Gotham. He was killed, but most people didn't know that he was dead. So Batman started using that identity. He would pose as Matches Malone from time to time to infiltrate criminal organizations, to get information from underworld contacts, that sort of thing. Now, since the 70s, it's rarely been used, the Matches Malone identity, but every once in a while it pops up again. Some writer brings it back. So I guess that's what Tynion's doing here. But I don't know. I mean, what is this getup he's wearing? Because Matches Malone was like an old school kind of like Irish mob hoodlum. You know? Not a person to be, because this Unsanity Collective, they're like anarchists. They're like punk rock anarchist types and avant-garde artist types or something like that. Just kind of very different. So seeing him in this getup, I don't know, it's like your dad dressing up to go to a rave and trying to fit in or something. I mean, it just seems like an odd fit. But I do like that they're bringing Matches Malone back. And the backup features Ghostmaker. And this is written by Tynion with Ricardo Lopez Ortiz doing the art. I mean, the art is okay, but again, it's one of these very manga-influenced artists. And basically, he's going after this villainess called Madame Midas, and she's called in a bunch of the Ghostmaker's other enemies, saying, let's join up and fight this guy. And then she reveals, oh, by the way, I've put word out through the underworld that this meeting was taking place and where it would be, so Ghostmaker knows, and he's on his way here. He'll be here soon. And he arrives. It's on this island somewhere, I think in the China Sea. And after he arrives, he's attacked by robot tigers with lasers, with frickin' laser beams. And, I mean, that's it. I mean, it's okay, but, I mean, I would rather have a full issue of the Batman story. But anyway, this is another solid issue. As I say, I do like this storyline overall. It's interesting because they're kind of putting it up in the air whether the Scarecrow is actually behind this or not. Because someone who they believe to be the Scarecrow was found dead in Arkham after the A-Day event. But Batman's not convinced it's him, and he's gotten some DNA from the corpse, which he's going to check out. And again, you have to think in the end, presumably, this whole fear tactic is going to work, because we know that from Future State that the Magistrate does come to be eventually. Unless, I don't know, maybe they want to make that just an alternative timeline or something. But Tynion continues to just do a solid job on this series, and Jorge Jimenez's art still looks excellent. So this is definitely a thumbs up. Check it out. Now, have you read this issue yourself? If you have, let me know what you thought in the comments. While you're at it, please do sub to the channel and hit the bell for notifications, and I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching.